I like eating and I like running and I like eating while I run. So that's what we're gonna talk about today is eating. There's also a giant hornet just right underneath me. I just need it to go away. We are 8 weeks out from the marathon, so my fueling strategy is something that I do actually want to practice, and these long runs give me a chance to do that. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through my fueling strategy before and during my 16-mile run, and our journey starts at 4:30 a.m. Why does it start at 4:30 a.m.? First thing I always notice is that when I wake up early, my stomach does not feel great. I never feel like eating anything, but I know for a long run like 16 miles, I need to be eating something. It's just my stomach feels so like full. It's like shut down, it's packed full of something. Poop. It's probably full of poop, to be honest with you. So the first thing I do is I wake up and I get some water right away. Once I get some water in my system, I usually start coffee, and that kind of helps clear out the bowels a little bit. I've been sticking to French press coffee recently, and I really like making French press coffee. Normally it's Chemex, but recently French press has just tasted different, better, I would say. And so that's what we started the day with. Breakfast sounded terrible. So what I decided was to get some liquid calories in by just getting some orange juice. That way I can get some sugar, some carbs, and just get some energy in my system right away. After that, my stomach did open up a little bit, enough to try one of these caffeinated energy bars. This has the equivalent to 1 cup of espresso in there. So this is gonna help us get a little bit of energy as well as it having carbs, calories, all that good stuff. So I was at least able to ingest that. I could just wait to run at 8 o'clock or 9 in the morning, but the problem is I don't wanna practice getting full meals in before I run, because when it comes to race day, I'm not gonna have a chance to get a full meal. So that's why it's really important to eat during your runs with these things. Oh my gosh, there he is right there. Can you see that? He just flew away. So that's why in today's video, I'm gonna talk about when specifically I'm gonna be taking these different sources of energy and fuel. It is 5:30 and we're about to start our run. We just got here. I'm definitely the only person here. I don't even know if I'm allowed to be out here yet because the park sign says sunrise until sunset. So the sun is coming up in like 30 minutes, but I went past the park up to the reservoir. So I'm sure I'll be fine, but unless the local PD has something to say about it. I can't say for certain, but I'd like to think I'm probably the coolest person out here with this headlamp on. Also, I hear one car coming, so hopefully that's not a cop. If it's not, I think we're good and we can get up there and run. The shoes that I selected for this long run are the Nike Invincible Run 3s. This is actually a brand new shoe to me. It's one I've wanted for a long time. I've heard a lot of good stuff about it, but they're $180, so my wife said no. May I please buy these shoes?
No, you may not.
Okay. However, I just found out that they went on sale for $87. I have no idea how I found that sale or why it's $100 off, but it was, and it's only $100 off in one color. And I don't even mind the color that much, so I bought them right away. May I now buy these shoes?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. We'll chat more about those shoes later, but I at least wanted to try them for this long run. I took them on 2 smaller runs, and I'll give you my official review of them at the end of this video. So for a longer run, like 16 miles, the nice thing about the place I choose to run at the reservoir is that it's a 4.5 mile loop all the way around. So 2 miles around is 9, and I really only have to do 1 more lap and a little bit more to hit 16. All right, we're starting to watch now. Officially, 16 miles is underway. We started off our run feeling pretty good, and throughout these longer runs for 12 miles, 14, and now 16, I'm just keeping track of when I start to feel pretty crappy. And that for me is usually mile 4 or 5. All right, just hit mile 4. Almost done with lap 1 here. Just about 44 minutes. So we're on great time right now. Time to fuel up here, and then let's go another lap here. That'll put us right about 9 miles when we finish lap 2. The first thing we did is at mile 4, we stopped and we took our first round of fuel in the form of these GOO energy chews. All right, wanted to try these really quick, and I left them in my car, so we grabbed these. All right, I want to review these really quick. They're a little tougher to chew than the other ones, but if you like lemonade, it tastes like lemonade. I've never had these before. I really stick to these Honey Stinger energy chews. I like those. If I use a gel, it's usually these Humagels. These ones specifically have double electrolytes, and sometimes they're caffeinated. So I like these, but I've been swapping over to Energy Chews as of late. So for that whole pack of Energy Chews I took at mile 4, that was 80 calories, 44 grams of carbs, and it did taste pretty good. The only real difference between those and the Honey Stinger Energy Chews would be that these are organic. So I like that about them, but again, I'm not overly worried about health just during these runs. I just want to get carbs in the best I can and keep the ingredients label fairly limited. After I stopped to eat those, within the next 10 to 15 minutes, I could feel the effects. I felt pretty good. I started to get that kind of balance in my step again, and we took off for the next couple miles. Another way I've been fueling for these runs is by hydrating during the race. So obviously in a marathon, you're gonna stop at aid stations and intake water or Gatorade or whatever else you bring. So for me, I've decided on these long runs, I'm gonna start running with a vest. I got a very lightweight, simple vest that has some nice pockets in it. I also have a place for my phone. That way, if I put on a podcast or something, like for this run, the first hour I was listening to the Nick Bare podcast, so I can just put it on and then zip up my phone. I don't have to worry about holding on my phone the entire time. So I also bring a collapsible water bottle with me. I think it's like 13 ounces, and I zip that in the front. Having water with me during the runs is really nice too, because again, you're gonna stop at aid stations during a marathon and you're gonna get water anyway, so I like to practice with that. But having water with me is really nice, and it's a great way to train and stay hydrated. But because I had this entire buffet on me of stuff to pick from, by the time I got to mile 8, I was ready for something again, and this time I went for the Honey Stinger Energy Chews. So for these, the totals will be 160 calories, 40 grams of carbs, and they taste really good. My next decision to make after that is, what do I take next? For the first time on my last run, I tried these Cliff Blocks, and taste-wise, these might be the best Energy Chews I've ever had. I'm not exaggerating, these are incredible. So the big con to these is that they're $4.19 per package. So it's a really bad deal, but it's gonna be 200 calories and 48 grams of carbs. That was next on my list. I also had some gels to pick from, but after I passed mile 12, I felt like if I took something, it was gonna go to waste, so I chose not to intake anything else. So I finished the 16-mile run with only those two sources. Just finished it, 16 miles, 2 hours and 39 minutes, 9:59 per mile. So I actually ran that better than I ran my 12 and my 14 miler. So just felt great today. I didn't even need the third bit of Energy Chews. That was it right there. I just felt fantastic, and glad to be done. I think I'm gonna swing by Panera, get myself a smoothie, and then maybe surprise Sylvia with a smoothie, and then got to shower and get over to church in time. So running out of time, let's get home and shower up here. For my longer runs, for 18 for 20 coming up, that third piece of fuel is going to be another one of these. I just like the Energy Chews a little bit more than gels. Maybe it's because I'm just chewing on something or it feels like I'm eating more. But when I start to get hungry, I like those. I think they're more substantial than the gels, but obviously for a marathon, these are more practical. So the big difference on what you choose to intake during your long runs is completely up to you. If you want to go for the Energy Chews, I think it's great. If you like gels, that's fine too, but pick something that's good for you. Obviously, this is what's working for me. That may not work well for you, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, you don't want to irritate your stomach. You want to get fueled exactly the way you need to for your own runs. My overall opinion on the Nike Invincible Run 3s, solid, very solid. When those wear down, I could easily see myself getting a second pair if they're on sale. I just feel like I have good bounce in my step, extra cushion, extra support. I like them. They're fairly lightweight, and for like a daily trainer and for these long runs, I'm absolutely loving them. I replaced my Saucony Endorphin Shift 3s with these shoes here. So I don't know, the Endorphin Shifts, I just felt like they had good support underneath them, but they had no cush to them. So I felt like I was just running on bricks sometimes, and the Invincible Run 3s are definitely going to replace those shoes. So during my run, I consumed a total of 250 calories and about 90 grams of carbs. If I go to my fancy Snapchat AI right here, they recommend when you ask them how much should you ingest for carbs, they're recommending 30 to 60 grams of carbohydrates per hour. So that's fairly close to me. Again, if I would have ran darn these drugs. If I would have ran a little bit further, I would have taken one more. It says if you're running more than 2.5 hours, you might want to increase that to 90 grams per hour. So I could have still done some more. Again, the key here is test what works for you. This is what's working for me. Again, I just want to mention there's no perfect fueling strategy for everybody. Golly. I hope that some of that information is valuable to you on kind of how I'm feeling for these long runs. Hopefully you can apply some of that to yourself and you can try those. Again, I kind of have my personal recommendations for what I like to intake, and what I laid out there is exactly that. So thank you guys for watching, I appreciate it. By the time this video comes out, I think we're gonna hit 1,000 subscribers, which is awesome. So thank you guys. If you're new to the channel, I appreciate it. If you guys haven't subscribed, maybe consider. And our journey to 2,000 will begin. I will see you guys in the next video, and thank you as always for watching. I feel really bad. I think Luna wants to come outside. Lou, do you want to come outside?